Welcome to the Ultimate Sports Podcast. Today is Friday, May 17th, 2019. Today I'm going to recap yesterday's Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Final between the Bruins and the Hurricanes. Look ahead to tonight's Game 4 between the Blues and the Sharks. NBA will go over last night's Game 2 of the Western Final between the Blazers and the Warriors. Look ahead to Game 2 between the Raptors and the Bucks. Baseball, go over yesterday's slate and look ahead to tonight. A lot of other things to do, such as a big front office move made by an NHL team, PGA tournament checkup, Tyreek Evans gets a ban from the NBA for 2 years. We'll get into that. And we'll predict the Preakness win, place, and show. And then my best bet. All right, we're going to be fairly quick on the scores because there's a lot of news to get to. We're going to start with Stanley Cup. The Bruins are 4-0 winners over the Hurricanes to sweep and move on to their first Stanley Cup final in 6 years. What a win for the Bruins. What a series. Tuukka Rask has been the best player in the Eastern Conference so far in the postseason. Although I'd say he is the runner-up in the voting for Conn Smythe right now behind Logan Couture of San Jose. No scoring in the first period. Second period, David Pastrnak, 7th of the postseason on the power play. 1-0 Bruins. Patrice Bergeron, 7th of the postseason on the power play. 2-0 Bruins. Third period, Patrice Bergeron, 2nd of the games, 8th of the playoffs. 3-0 Bruins. Then Brad Marchand, 7th of the postseason. 4-0 Bruins is your final. Number 1 star of the game with 2 goals and an assist. Patrice Bergeron, number 2 star of the game with a goal and 2 assists. David Pastrnak, number 3 star of the game, 24 saves on 24 shots. Tuukka Rask. Tonight, Blues host the Sharks. Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals, 8 o'clock NBCSN. Kenny Albert, Joe Micheletti, Pierre McGuire on the call. It's going to be a good game, I think. I think that the Blues are going to play a lot better than they did in game number 3 defensively. I think that they're going to put the botched overtime goal that shouldn't have counted behind them, and I think they're going to win a clean game. I'm going to say 3-2 Blues regulation. It'll be a great game. Binghamton bounces back, and I really like the Blues to tie this thing up at 2 apiece. On Sunday, you have Game 5 between the Blues and the Sharks, 3 o'clock NBC. Kenny Albert, probably still Joe Micheletti and Pierre McGuire. I think that the Sharks will go up 3-2 in the series at home, and they play great at home. I know the Blues beat them there in Game 2, so they showed a little bit of vulnerability at home, although the Blues are great on the road. I'm going to say the Blues win tonight, the Sharks win on Sunday. Now we'll move on to the NBA, where there was a great game last night at Oracle Arena. The Warriors over the Trailblazers, 114-111. Golden State goes up 2-0 in the series. Stephen Curry just reminded everybody why he's one of the highest paid players in the NBA. 37 points, 8 boards, 8 assists, 4 for 14 from 3, though 11 for 22 from the field. Klay Thompson had 24 points, 4 for 8 from 3. Draymond Green, 16 points, 10 boards, 7 assists, 8 for 12 from the field. He's looked like the Draymond Green of old. Jordan Bell had 11 off the bench. Kevin Looney had 14 off the bench. Meanwhile, for Portland, CJ McCollum had 22, Dame Lillard had 23, Mo Harkless had 12. Off the bench, Seth Curry had 16, including 4 3-pointers, a couple big ones in the fourth quarter, and Rodney Hood had 12. And Portland was up by double digits at halftime. I believe that at one point they were up by 17, but give Golden State credit. They played better defense in the second half, and that's what happens when the best team in the NBA really takes a notch on the defensive side of the ball. They have Curry and Thompson there to shoot the lights out, and Draymond Green making plays. So no Kevin Durant, no problem, but I think they're going to need him come the finals if they play the Milwaukee Bucks. And speaking of the Bucks, they host Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals tonight against the Raptors. 8:30 TNT, Marv Albert, Reggie Miller, Chris Webber, and maybe David Aldridge is doing the sideline reporting. I really don't know who's doing sideline. I'm assuming it's him. Milwaukee's a 6.5-point favorite. I think this is going to be a very close game. And guess what? I'm going bold here. I'm going to take the Raptors here to tie this thing up at 1 apiece. They came close to winning that game the other day. but they just couldn't stop Brook Lopez down the stretch. So give me the Raptors in a super close one, 106-104. I think Kawhi Leonard's the best player on the court tonight. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock, ESPN, Warriors, Blazers. On ESPN, Mike Breen, Mark Jackson, Jeff Van Gundy on the call with Doris Burke. Portland's a 2.5-point favorite, and guess what? Portland's getting on the board in the series. I just like how that team plays at home, although they did lose the closeout game, or not the closeout game, it was the game 4 there at home against Denver. But I really love this Blazers team, and I think they are going to come out with something to prove. I won't be surprised if they win by double digits here, but I don't think they will. I think they cover, though, so let's go. It's 120-113 Blazers. And then Sunday, 7 o'clock on TNT, Bucks at the Raptors. It's a pick'em. Marv Albert, Chris Webber, Reggie Miller on the call with David Aldridge. I like the Bucks to take Game 3. So, nevertheless, the Bucks will go up 2-1, but I just think that the road team wins the next 2 games. Next, we'll move on to baseball. We're going to go over yesterday's scores and look ahead to tonight's games. Nationals over the Mets 7-6. The Mets are in big trouble. Mickey Callaway on the hot seat. They dropped to 20-22. Nats go to 18-25. Dan Jennings to win. He's 1-2. Zach Wheeler to loss 3-3. Sean Doolittle gets his 7th save of the season. Zach Wheeler 6 innings, 11 hits, 6 home runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 4.85. Meanwhile, Anibal Sanchez didn't last the game. Didn't last 2 innings. Eric Feed came in, 2 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 4 runs, no walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 3.38. Meanwhile, Sanchez, an inning and a third, 1 hit, no runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts, 5.10 ERA. Brewers over the Phillies 11-3. The Brewers pull off a 3-game sweep. That's impressive. 27-19. Phillies are 24-19. Zach Davies the win. Zach Eflin the loss. Davies, 6 innings, 4 hits, an earned run, a walk, 5 strikeouts, ERA 1.54. He's emerged as the ace of that staff right now. Zach Eflin, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA 2.89. Athletics over the Tigers, 17-3. Yes, that's the right score. Oakland, 20-25. Detroit, 18-24. Chris Bassett the win. Stephen Turnbull the loss. Bassett, 8 innings, 4 hits, no one runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, ERA 1.93. Turnbull, 4 innings, 5 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 2.4. Rangers over the Royals, 16-1. So the runs were about yesterday. Rangers are 19-22. KC is 15-29. Lance Lynn the win. Homer Bailey the loss. Lance Lynn, 7 innings, 6 hits, an earned run, a walk, 5 strikeouts, ERA 4.94. Homer Bailey, 4 1/3 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 5.36. Indians over to Orioles, 14-7. So yet again, another team in double-digit runs. The Indians on the season improved to 23-19. Baltimore's 14-29. AJ Cole the win. Gabriel Noah the loss. Dan Straley started for Baltimore, 3 1/3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, a strikeout, ERA an ugly 8.51. Trevor Bauer had his worst start of the year, 5 innings, 5 hits, 7 runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 3.76. Reds over the Cubs 4-2. Cincinnati improves to 20-24. The Cubs drop to 25-16. Luis Castillo the win. Jose Quintana lost. Raciel Iglesias the save. Quintana 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, a walk, 4 strikeouts, ERA 3.68. Castillo, 5 1/3 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, a walk, 6 strikeouts, ERA a sparkling 1.9. Braves over the Cardinals 10-2. The Braves go to 23-21. The Cardinals drop to 23-21. Julio Teheran gets the win. Adam Wainwright the loss. Wainwright, his worst outing so far, 4 innings, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts, ERA 4.75. Teheran, meanwhile, had a good outing for him. 5 innings, 2 hits, no 1 runs, 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, ERA 3.88. So he's off to a pretty solid start for him, at least. White Sox over the Blue Jays 4-2. The White Sox are 20-22. Toronto 17-26. Kelvin Herrera the win. Derek Law the loss. Alex Colom gets his 9th save of the year. Dylan Covey 5 2/3 innings, 2 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, and a strikeout, ERA 4.41. Marcus Stroman 6 innings, 7 hits, an earned run, a walk, and 6 strikeouts, ERA 2.95. Twins over the Mariners 11-6. The Twins are 28-15. The Mariners are 22-24. Michael Pineda to win. Eric Swanson the loss. Michael Pineda 7 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts, ERA 5.55. Eric Swanson 3 innings, 9 hits, 8 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 8.04. Padres over the Pirates 4-3. The Padres are 23-21. Pirates 21-20. Adam Warren the win. Richard Rodriguez the loss. Kirby Yates gets his 17th save of the season. Eric Lauer 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, no walks, 3 strikeouts, ERA 5.24. Trevor Williams 3 2/3 innings, 2 hits, 1 run, a walk, and 5 strikeouts, ERA 3.33. He was taken out early. Pitch count was at 73. That probably has something to do with it. Tonight's game, 7 o'clock, Rays-Yankees. These two obviously battling out for first in the American League East. Ryan Stanek and CC Sabathia. Cubs-Nationals. Cole Hamels and Max Scherzer. That's a nice pitching matchup. Rockies-Phillies. John Gray and Cole Irvin. Orioles-Indians. Dylan Bundy and Jeffrey Rodriguez. Astros-Red Sox. That's an ALCS rematch from last year. Garrett Cole and Rick Porcello. Athletics-Tigers. Frankie Montas and Daniel Norris. Dodgers-Reds. So this is obviously, yes, he'll be playing against his former team again. Rich Hill and Anthony DeSclafani. Mets-Marlins. A lot of pressure on the Mets this weekend. Jacob deGrom and Trevor Richards. 7:20 Brewers-Braves. Julius Chassin and Max Fried. 8 o'clock Cardinals-Rangers, so World Series rematch from 2011. Miles Mikolas and Jose Leclerc. Blue Jays-White Sox. Aaron Sanchez and Ivan Nova. 9:40 Giants-Diamondbacks. Jeff Samardzija and Merrill Kelly. Royals-Angels at 10 o'clock. Brad Keller and Matt Harvey. Padres-Pirates. Oh, I'm sorry, it's the other way around, but you get it. Joey Lucchesi and Jordan Lyles. And last but not least, Twins-Mariners. Martin Perez and Marco Gonzalez. All right. Couple quick things before we go. PGA's going on this weekend. I forgot to give out my pick. So right now I'm going to go through the leaderboard and give out a prediction. Right now in first place with a -12, Brooks Koepka. Second place with a -6, Matt Wallace. Third place, a tie between Jordan Spieth, Adam Scott, Luke List. And the rest of the notables, you have Dustin Johnson tied for 6th with a -4. Justin Rose, 9th, -3. You have Ricky Fowler tied for 10th with a -2. You have Xavier Schauffele tied for 19th with a -1. Phil Mickelson tied for 27th at even. You have Tiger not doing so hot in this tournament. A bit of a letdown for him after his Masters win. Currently right now tied for 83rd with a +5. Oi. Rory McIlroy's tied for 58th with a +3, so he's in the cut mix right now. Justin Day is also tied with that. I'm sorry, Jason Day. So that's your update for the PGA Championship, and my pick to win it is the guy that's in first place right now, and that's Brooks Koepka. I really am high on him for this tournament. I think he's due for a bounce-back performance after a disappointing Masters. Next up, going to talk some NBA a little bit. Tyreke Evans got a 2-year ban from the NBA due to violating the NBA anti-drug program. He was set to be a free agent, so that's not good news for Tyreke Evans. He cost himself a bit of a payday. He signed the 1-year deal last year at the Pacers. He was okay for them. Meanwhile, he had that great year in Memphis, and then he signs with the Pacers, and I guess that great year in Memphis was a 1-year wonder. So he's banned from the NBA for 2 years. I haven't seen a story like this in a while in terms of an NBA player and suspensions due to drugs. Lakers news, they won't hire a president of basketball operations to replace Magic Johnson, and Rob Pelinka will continue as the general manager and reportedly direct to ownership. This organization's a mess right now. There's no other way to put it. I thought there was a chance that they're going to go out and hire Bob Myers or hire one of these big-name executives that currently have a job right now. And no, they didn't. They decided to stick with their little GD boss and Rob Pelinka. It's just, oh my God. I know Kurt Rambis is heavily involved, and so is Linda Rambis. Part of me thinks that Phil Jackson is kind of behind the scenes doing things, which isn't great. He obviously was awful as the president of basketball operations with the Knicks. And now, apparently, he's sort of, I think, quasi-involved in these Lakers decisions because Kurt Rambis is, and boy, it's just a mess there. And I think that this is the wrong thing. I think they should have went out and hired somebody. They could have just said, okay, you could either hire your own general manager, fire Pelinka, or keep Pelinka but in a different role. But no, Pelinka's going to report to ownership. Not that I think that Pelinka's done a poor job. I mean, Magic was the one that was in charge of all the signings, in my mind, of Lance Stevenson and Rajon Rondo, and botched trade talks for Paul George, and then botched trade talks for Anthony Davis. And I really think that they're not even the favorites to trade for AD. I think the favorites are the New York Knicks. I said it on the podcast the other day to my buddy Derek, and I believe he will be a Knick. Derek believes he'll be a Laker. And I think that with this news, this kind of puts him in a little bit of limbo. Like, how do we know what Rob can do being by himself without Magic Johnson? Not that Magic Johnson was any good anyway. Oh my God, what a mess. And another NBA story that I want to get to real quick. Tim Connolly is being offered the president of basketball operations job with the Wizards. Connolly's obviously the president of basketball ops with the Nuggets. So that would be a big loss for the Denver front office. It would be the second time in 6 years where the Denver president of basketball ops leaves for another job. We saw that with Masai Ujiri in 2013. And now you could potentially see it here as Tim Connolly would get hired in Washington, which would be a great hire for Washington in terms of replacing Ernie Grunfeld, who did some good things and did some bad things with the Wizards, but mainly known more for bad than good. But Conley, I think, has done a great job with the Nuggets, made some good draft picks, and I really think that that'd be a wonderful hire by the Washington Wizards there. And speaking of president of operations hirings, the New York Rangers hired John Davidson to be their president of hockey operations. And I think this is a great hire. He obviously spent the past 6 or 7 years with the same position, working for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I think he did a great job there. And he made some big ballsy trades at the deadline. Yeah, they didn't go far, but I would still say that it was sort of worth it, especially if they re-sign Matt Duchene, which I think is a possibility. They're going to lose Artemi Panarin, and now with JD coming over to the Rangers, I think there's a possibility that Panarin signs with the Rangers, although I think the Panthers and Joel Quenneville will certainly be in play for Panarin as well. So, nevertheless, this is a great hire by James Dolan. I can't believe I just praised James Dolan on my podcast, but I did. And I think he'll do a great job. I think he was put into a good position here with the Rangers as they got lucky in the draft lottery, as they made the jump from, I believe they were supposed to pick 7th, and now they're going to pick 2nd. And that's great. So they're either going to get Capo, Kakko, or Jack Hughes in the draft lottery. And then they have a lot of cap space this summer. They can go out and sign whomever they want, whether it's Panarin or Erik Karlsson. They made the trade for Adam Fox. And obviously Jeff Gorton's the one that's making the moves there, but JD's above him in the front office, so I think that him and JD will work well together. And I'm obviously going to have somebody hockey on within the next couple weeks, and we'll talk about this hire more in depth. Alright, now I'm going to do my NHL mock draft. It's my third mock draft. I'm going to go from 1 to 31 as I do each and every time. Number 1, New Jersey Devils, Jack Hughes, center, U.S. National Development Team. Hughes is somebody people have been talking about since last year in terms of young up-and-coming impact draft prospects. He's going to come in and have an immediate impact on a team that needs young assets to go with Taylor Hall and former number 1 overall pick, Nico Hischier. 2, New York Rangers, Capo Caco, right wing, Leha, TPS. The Rangers have to be thrilled for making this big of a jump in the lottery. Caco is somebody that will jumpstart this rebuild as he broke a ton of scoring records in Liga. He will also make an immediate impact and would be yet another prospect to add to a suddenly loaded prospect group featuring Vitaly Kravtsov and Keandre Miller. 3, Chicago Blackhawks, Alex Turcotte, center, U.S. National Development Team. Turcotte is somebody that is a very dynamic two-way center. That stock is rising. He's playing in the Under-18 World Championship and is thriving in the tournament, which is making people think he could be the third guy off the board on draft night. 4, Colorado Avalanche from the Ottawa Senators. Dylan Cousins, center, Lethbridge, WHL. Cousins is somebody I'm very high on and I feel has a ton of potential. He's very dynamic and would give the Avalanche a great number 2 center behind Nathan MacKinnon down the road. 5, Los Angeles Kings. Bowen Bryam, defenseman, Vancouver, WHL. The Kings have options here at this pick as they could trade the pick, take a forward, or go defense like I have them here. Bryam is the best defenseman in the draft, and the Kings need more young defensemen as your Doughty is aging. 6, Detroit Red Wings, Kirby Dach, center, Saskatoon, WHL. The Red Wings go with the big center here in Dach. He has a nice combination of speed and skill, and maybe could be a number 2 center behind Dylan Larkin if he were to land here. 7, Buffalo Sabres, Cole Caulfield, center, wing, U.S. National Development Team. The Sabres could go in a bunch of different directions here. Caulfield is somebody whose draft stock is rising due to his versatility he provides, and he could pan out into a top 6 forward. 8, Edmonton Oilers, Vasily Podkolzin, right wing, St. Petersburg, KHL. Podkolzin is somebody that was outstanding in the World Junior, but wasn't putting up stats offensively in Russia. I can see Podkolzin slipping further than this due to contract concerns with the KHL, but at the same time, due to his upside, I can see him being picked in the top 3. 9, Anaheim Ducks, Trevor Zargas, center, wing, U.S. National Development Team. Zargas is somebody that is a very versatile player and has smart vision. He's a good two-way player, too, and he'd be somebody that the Wild would move around in their lineup because of his versatility. 10, Vancouver Canucks, Victor Soderstrom, defenseman, Brina, super elite. The Canucks go defense for the second straight year as they take Soderstrom to go with Quinn Hughes. He's somebody that is a smart player and that could be great offensively and reliable defensively. 11, Philadelphia Flyers, Matthew Bodley, right wing, U.S. National Development Team. Bodley is yet another USNDT player taken in the lottery. He has a ton of size and scores the puck from both sides of the wing and is someone the Flyers would take a chance on. 12, Minnesota Wild, Peyton Curbs, left wing, Kootenay, WHL. Curbs is somebody that is a dynamic offensive force like some of the other wingers in the top of the draft. He's fast and has a good hockey IQ, which the Sabres would like. 13, Florida Panthers, Philip Borberg, defenseman, AIK, Sweden. The Panthers could go a number of directions with the pick. Borberg is somebody that is a good offensive defenseman that has good vision as well as controls the game well in all zones. 14, Arizona Coyotes, Alex Newhook, center, Victoria, BCHL. Newhook is such a fast riser right now that this area of the draft is where I believe he'll be taken if the draft were being held tonight. He is somebody that is a big offensive force, and he has blazing speed. 15, Montreal Canadiens, Raphael Lavoie, center wing, Halifax, OHL. Lavoie is somebody whose draft stock is rising and could be an immediate contributor for the Canadiens. He's a physical player, but also someone with speed and can wire a heavy shot. 16, Colorado Avalanche, Arthur Kaliev, left wing, Hamilton, OHL. Kaliev is somebody that can flat out score. Some people have concerns with his skating ability and his two-way game, or else he would be in the conversation for a top 10 or even a top 5 pick. 17, Vegas Golden Knights, Thomas Hardley, defenseman, Mississauga, OHL. Hardley is somebody that is an excellent two-way defenseman and is probably a steal with this pick. He is somebody the Knights would pair with Shea Theodore down the road. 18, Dallas Stars. Ryan Suzuki, center. Barry, OHL. The younger brother of former Knights first-round prospect Kurt. Ryan might end up being the better prospect. He's a great skater and has good vision for the game as well as great playmaking skills. 19, Ottawa Senators from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Samuel Pauline, left wing, Sherbrooke, QMJHL. Pauline is somebody that could go this high or fall into the second round. His size combined with above-average puck handling, shooting, and playmaking skills makes him an attractive power forward NHL prospect. 20, New York Rangers from Winnipeg Jets. Moritz Seider, defenseman, Alder, SCL. The Rangers go defense here with their second first-rounder to continue building their defense depth. Seider is somebody that is a great two-way defenseman and a force to be reckoned with. 21, Cam York, defenseman, U.S. National Development Team. The USNDT dominance continues as the Penguins take York. He is somebody that could be a top 4 D-man on somebody's roster, and he is someone that was thought out to be a lottery pick a few weeks ago, but his stock has dropped. 22, Los Angeles Kings from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Connor McMichael, center, London, OHL. McMichael is somebody that is very crafty and the type of player that the Kings add to what might be a long rebuild. He is also great at finishing, and he stood out along the Knights team that is loaded with scorers. 23, New York Islanders. Tobias Bjornfoot, defenseman, Drew Garden, super elite. Bjornfoot is one of the faster risers with about a month to go until the draft. He's a fluid skater with escapability who can log big minutes. His quick release on his wristers helps create rebounds of seemingly harmless attempts. 24, Nashville Predators. Bobby Brink, right wing, Sioux Falls, USHL. The Preds take the fast-rising winger here. Brink isn't the fastest skater, but has good footwork and agility, allowing him to weave in and out of traffic and around defenders. 25, Washington Capitals. Matthew Robertson, defenseman, Edmonton, OHL. Robertson is somebody that provided very good two-way play this past season. He seems like somebody the Capitals would take a chance on, and I think could really help them sooner rather than later. 26, Calgary Flames. Brett Leeson, center, wing, Prince Albert, WHL. Leeson is somebody rare in the sense that he was undrafted last year and now projected to be a late first or early second round pick, and that says a lot on how much he has improved as a player. He can flat out score and has good size and plays a power game. 27, Tampa Bay Lightning. V.A. Heinola, defenseman, Luco, SM Legia. Heinola is somebody that is very good at attacking and making odd-man situations. His moves make people remind him of Rasmus Dahlin. 28, Anaheim Ducks from the Buffalo Sabres via the St. Louis Blues. Lassie Thompson, defenseman, Kelowna, WHL. The Ducks go defense with their second first-rounder with Thompson. He's somebody that has the upside of being a top 4 pairing and is a good skater, but needs help on his defensive game. 29, Carolina Hurricanes. Jakob Petelier, center, wing, Moncton, QMJHL. The Hurricanes take the versatile forward here with their first rounder. Petelier is somebody that has great tenacity and skill as well as generating chances off the forecheck. 30, Buffalo Sabres from the San Jose Sharks. Antoni Honka, defenseman, JYP SM Legia. The Sabres go defense with their second first rounder and settle on Honka. He is somebody that is an agile puck rusher and distributor who can elude pressure in a variety of ways. 31, Boston Bruins. Phil Tomasino, center wing, Niagara, OHL. Tomasino is somebody that is versatile and has a knack of making plays with a ton of speed. That's something that the Bruins really like in players that they draft. Now I'm going to do my preview and picks for the Preakness, which is tomorrow evening. The post time, I believe, 6:50, just like the Derby. So without further ado, here's the field, and at the end I'm going to make a prediction for the winner, a place and show. 1, War of Will, 4-1 odds. Mark Cassie's the trainer. Tyler Gaffalione is the jockey. This was the 7th place finisher in the Derby. somebody that can't really catch a break. The number 2 horse is Bourbon War. The trainer is Mark Henning, and the jockey is Rod Ortiz Jr., 12-1 odds. He was the 4th place finisher in the Derby, right behind Maximum Security. And he's somebody that I think has a chance. 3, Warriors Charge. The trainer is Brad Cox. The jockey is Javier Castellano, 12-1 odds. He's somebody that wasn't in the Derby, but now is here in the Preakness. And this is somebody that won his last 2 races by a combined 12.5 legs, but he won't be as dominant in his first graded skates race. Next up is Improbable. The trainer's Bob Baffert. The jockey's Mike Smith, 5-2 odds. He's the favorite. He finished in 4th and the Derby, and he's somebody that is talented, obviously, but who has failed to get to the finish line first this year. Maybe this is his opportunity. 5 is Owendale. Brad Cox is the trainer. Florent Garreau is the jockey, 10-1 odds. He had a good rally in the Lexington Stakes, and he's an interesting choice. 6 is Market King. The trainer is Dwayne Lucas. Jockey, John Court, 30-1 odds. Lucas has 6 Preakness victories, but this horse, who has won once in 8 tries, will not land him a 7th. The number 7 horse is Always Smining. The trainer is Kelly Rubley. The jockey is Daniel Centeno, 8-1 odds. This is an interesting horse. He has won 6 straight at Laurel and has a better shot than the recent hometown favorites at becoming the first barely bred to win the Preakness since 1983. 8, the Single Man. Kenny McPeak is the trainer. Brian Hernandez Jr., the jockey, 30-1 odds. He's somebody that finished in a close 3rd at the Bluegrass. He's somebody that is, though, a step slower than most of his competitors. 9 is Boat Express, 20-1 odds. Gustavo Delgado is the trainer. John Velasquez is the jockey. He's somebody that was impeded in the Derby and finished 13th, but he never had a shot anyway to secure his first win. 10, Everfast, 50-1 odds to win this race. Dale Romans is the trainer. Joel Rosario is the jockey. He won his debut, then lost 9 straight. 11, Laughing Fox. Steve Osman's the trainer. Ricardo Santana Jr. is the jockey, 21 odds to win. This is somebody that's won the Oakland Invitational after finishing 4th in the Arkansas Derby, but somebody that appears to be a little overmatched. 12 is Another Twist Fate. Blaine Wright is the trainer. Jose Ortiz is the jockey, 6-1. This is a good horse. He was the runner-up in the Sunland Derby, and in the Lexington Stakes picks up Ortiz as his rider, but it might not be enough. 13, Win. This was a horse that was in the Derby, finished in 9th. Mike Trombetta's the trainer. Julian Pimentel is the jockey, 15-1 odds. So, he's somebody that has a chance, I'd say. And somebody that my guest from a few weeks ago, Jeffrey Burns, I believe, liked in Win. But nevertheless, my pick for the Preakness, the winner, I have the number 4 horse, Improbable, who is obviously the favorite. Coming in 2nd place, I have Owendale. I think that he was impressive in the Lexington Stakes, and I think that he has a chance here. And then my show, so 3rd place is the number 1 horse, and that is War of Will, who I really like and I considered picking to win this race. So, give me Improbable, Owendale, War of Will, trifecta. And last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by DraftKings. Just going to pick random games I feel good about with all the sports involved. So without further ado, here we go. I'm going to start in the NHL. I'm going to take the Blues to rebound and the win Game 4. I'm going to take the Raptors as a big dog tonight, plus 235 on the money line. Baseball, I really like the Indians' chances tonight against the Orioles. That's obvious. Taking Garrett Cole on the road at Fenway Park, although it might not be the wisest choice because the Red Sox are playing so well right now. Was going to take the Dodgers and Rich Hill, but I backed off. The Mets are under so much pressure. DeGrom's so good. I have to take them. I'm going to take Oakland on the road at Detroit. I'm going to take Miles Mikolas and the Cardinals on the road, but I'm not super about that pick. And last but not least, I'm going to go with the Arizona Diamondbacks and Merrill Kelly. Kelly's just been pitching great lately. Wagering $1, $89.96 odds to win $90.96. That's it for the podcast today. I'll be back on Monday recapping all the events from the weekend, whether it's PGA, Preakness, Stanley Cup playoffs, NBA playoffs, baseball. Look ahead to everything on Monday. Baseball power rankings, baseball mock draft, and any other news that happens in the world of sports. Have a good weekend, everybody.